Hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Words, Images, and Worlds. So glad to be talking on this episode with comics creator David Brame. David, thank you for jumping in and joining me. According to your social medias, I think you live in Alaska. Is that true, or is that
Uh,
just?
that is correct. Yeah, happy to be
Oh,
here.
cool.
And yeah, correctly. Right now, I'm living in a small town called Kasilof, Kasilof,
Very nice.
in Alaska. It's in like the southwest of Alaska. So we get the most tropical Alaskan weather you can get.
Nice,
like
nice.
yeah, it's coastal like where I'm at. We're not quite like the people up in like North Pole or Nome or something like that. So,
That's cool. That's
but
cool.
it's nice.
Yeah, that my wife has traveled to Alaska and keeps telling me that we should go back. So, but the only thing I know about Alaska is the film Insomnia, the Christopher Nolan film. So,
Oh, yeah, that's kind of like what everybody experiences,
yeah, yeah,
especially in the summertime. It's you get 22 hours of sunlight. So you either get used to it or you do a lot of work. You just like you're like, I guess I can go outside and build some more things or just go spend
hmm.
another like couple hours at the beach and just like you just have like so much sunlight power. It's pretty great.
D Does that make for the long churning days of creating comics? Is that part of that process, or?
Uh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it helps. I mean, I actually prefer the winter times when it's like 3 hours of daylight. I can just go to my little drawing dungeon, and everybody's
Nice.
like a little more subdued, relaxed. No, there's less people asking you to do stuff when it's minus 40 and
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
it's like painful to be outside and it's dark. So I do actually have wintertime is better for me for comics. Summertime is like usually everybody wants to hang out and do fun stuff.
Yeah,
So it's a lot harder to get more things done because there's more people inviting you to do things.
I hear that. I
but
hear that.
um, but yeah, I mean, I'm a professional, so I keep a pretty uh regular like drawing schedule.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, somebody's just like, "Hey, you want to go fishing?" And I'm like, yes,
It feeds the process. It all feeds the process.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
So, what titles, what creators, what worlds got you into comics? Why was it comics that kind of pulled you in as a creative voice?
I mean, actually, it was the funny pages like Sunday
Hmm.
comics
Hmm.
and I guess your weekly newspaper comics. That's kind of what got me into comics at first. Or sort of just the idea of like sequential storytelling. I had an uncle who sort of taught me to draw. When I was like 4 or 5 or something like that, we sat down and he taught me how to like trace a Garfield comic. And and I was like, whoa, is this drawing? This is pretty cool. and but then that got me into just reading the Sunday Funnies. So it was like
Mhm.
Berkeley Breathed and Bill Watterson, so Calvin and Hobbes and Bloom County and Doonesbury and um, Far Side. Those were like those are the things that like that was actually kind of what I wanted to be, was like to be an editorial cartoonist, but like and like sort of do like comic strips. But that sort of syndicated artist lifestyle died like in when I was like 12.
Yeah.
So I was like, what else can I do?
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
it wasn't until like I watched cartoons and I played with toys, and so there was just always this sort of like creative like childhood. But it wasn't until honestly until I was in college that I really got invested in comics as like as a medium, you know.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I had a friend who sort of was like, there was this nice place in Columbus, Ohio, where I went to school called Discount Comics, and it was just like we called it the Fire Trap. You know, it's like a kind of in a super tiny shop. You know, they didn't fire or like follow any fire code, so it's just like stacks of paper and old comics and newspapers.
Oh wow,
I don't even
yeah.
know if you'll ever see like comic shops like that anymore, but it was like it was a great place, you know. And I got addicted to the 25-cent bin, and that kind
Hmm.
of got me into everything through there. But I guess the people that really influenced me were like Paul Pope. Like the first time I read Heavy Liquid, like
Hmm.
that like, blew my mind. Like the first time I read like the Inkle with or Inkal Inkle. I've never actually heard it pronounced, but with like Jodorowsky and
Hmm.
Mobius, like
Yeah,
John Giroux, you know, like that was like that blew my mind. Like I was like, that is what I that's kind of that's what I want to be as a creator. You know, the first time I
yeah,
read Akira, so like Atomo, like Lone Wolf and Cub, like Kojima, like those are like all the things that I really got me into to comics. You know, I mean, and I loved like you know, there was always like X-Men and Youngblood and like sort of that '90s, you know, stuff everybody liked when they were kids in the '90s. You know, like
hmm. Hmm.
you know, sort of that sort of bubblegum pop, like you know, the superheroes that you know, sort of made up the childhood. But I wouldn't
Yeah,
really say like, you know, I didn't like my mom wasn't she didn't really like comics. She was just
that's
like, oh,
yeah,
it's gonna
part of the story.
it's
Yeah,
gonna it's gonna rot your brain. And I'm like, okay, I'll make it into a job. So
nice.
you know, I wasn't really like following them. It was just like I had $1 and I can get those little they used to like have those packages like of
Hmm.
comics when you're like you know, they were in like the grocery store. It was $1 and you get like 3 comics that weren't really connected to anything. So
Yeah,
I guess in a
yeah,
long-winded way, that's kind of like the origin story of what got me into telling stories and sequential work.
yeah. You're talking about those bagged books where you could see the front and the back, but there was something mysterious in between. Um,
Correct.
yeah. Hmm. I
It
remember
was like
those.
X Factor on one side, and then like you know whatever X-Men on the other side, but in the middle it was like something mysterious, and you had no idea
Hmm. Hmm.
what you were gonna get.
Yep.
But
Yeah, I remember it
yeah, you
well.
spent the time or whatever. And it was kind of like a Cracker Jack box or something like that. You know,
Yeah,
see
true,
what's inside.
true, true. So I'll mention a couple of titles that bubble to the surface for me, and then if there are any that I missed that uh, are especially positive experiences, that's kind of where the question is heading. So Necromancer Bill being one of those, lots of fun
Mhm.
and fun mingling with darkness there. After the Rain, I mean, beautiful, beautiful book adaptation of Octavia Butler. Love it, love it. If they ever do
Yeah.
Kindred or not Kindred, Fledgling, like I want to see that from David Brame. I want to see that. And then you've also worked in the world of Isnana, if I'm saying that the right way. The Were Spider.
Yeah. Yeah. That's those are sort of all of the current worlds that I'm, you know, sort of building right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Necromancer Bill was like super fun. It's sort of like uh lighthearted comedy horror, I guess you can put it
Hmm.
in that like kind of framework. And yeah, that was a really fun book I did with Robert Minnigus is the writer for that, and
Hmm.
he's pretty funny, and yeah, I got to sort of run around and do like more comedic style like work. Yeah, After the Rain was like really awesome. I've worked a
Yeah.
lot with collaborated a lot with John Jennings, and actually it
Mm-hmm.
was Nnedi Okorafor who wrote After the Rain. She adapted it from a short story,
Hmm.
and Octavia Butler is like a is a current book I'm working on right now. We're adapting something from Octavia
Oh,
Butler.
awesome, awesome.
And I'm doing that with John as well. But yeah, After the Rain was um, Nettie calls it like Jujuism or African futurism. Like it's not really like Afrofuturism, like in um, the the strict sense of what Afrofuturism is, because it's more based in Nigeria and with like the Igbo like language and people and like with the Yoruba like sort of culture is
Yeah,
sort of what it's based around. But it's yeah, it's really beautiful. Like I think John's the one that colored it. He did like a fantastic job. He's a great collaborator.
yeah.
Um, and then what was the oh yeah, it's Nana. Yeah,
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
yeah, it's a Nancy backwards. It's about the son of a Nancy, the storyteller, also from like Yoruba, like Igbo, Nigeria legend, you know.
Hmm.
So it's about storytelling, but um, yeah, like so he's not he's it's not like it's not a Spider-Man story, you know. It's
Yeah,
but it is a story
very
that
different, very
involves
different.
like yeah, it's like you know because it's like African folklore and mixed with sort of like urban um like uh like sort of urban experiences as well. So it's like a fish out of water type of story because he like
Hmm.
you know he grows up in Africa and in this like the Ware universe, like this like other space where like all like African folklore and legend exists. So he's like in these two spaces and he's trying to like learn about uh you know how to be a person and also to be this like protector of these African folkloric like legends. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's a pretty fun place to work in and build stories.
I love the mythic. I love the legendary. There's a little bit of horror in there too, but it's not like over the top. Both that and Necromancer Bill, I feel like there are horror elements, but there's also something else there. With Necromancer Bill, it's more humor. With Isnana, it's more like the mythological kind of parts of it.
Yeah, like that's the. I mean, we've done like. I mean, I've only done a few short pieces with him. We're
Hmm.
working on like a
Hmm.
longer one for his nana, but yeah, like uh, I think just the way that me and Greg Anderson Elise, he's the writer for that. Like the way that we collaborate is kind of this. We want to get into like these deeper subjects, I guess. So we kind of like things don't become as lighthearted in the works that we do
Hmm.
with
Hmm.
it. But it's more like folkloric, you know, because we're like we've done stuff stories with like indigenous cultures, like we did like a Choctaw story.
Hmm.
You know, we've done these like sort of Haitian myths, these Nigerian myths, these like voodoo or hoodoo myths, you know. So, you know, we did some stuff about. I grew up in South Carolina, so you know some Gullah and Geechee stories. We did
Oh
things
yeah,
like
yeah.
that as well. But, you know, dealing with you know those types of folklores, but like specifically the horrific things that exist within those cultures. So it's so yeah, it's a combination of like folklore, myth, and horror. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Necromancer Bill, it's just like fun. It's
Hmm.
just
Hmm.
hilarious. I think Robert's a great like comedic writer. Like I'm always like laughing when I'm like, oh sweet, I get to draw this.
Nice, nice. I was actually just in South Carolina. I had been through before, but just visited really the Charleston area last month for the first time, and um, got to explore a little bit of Gullah Geechee culture there. So uh, really,
Nice.
really
Yeah.
cool connections there. Yeah.
Yeah. That's where I grew up, like in North Charleston. I know a small town called Goose Creek, which is like just outside of Charleston. And that's where I started my whole like like art and book love.
Nice.
But yeah, like it's a wild place. But
Hmm.
yeah,
Hmm.
luckily they support the arts like quite a bit. There's like so much culture there.
Yeah.
So it's pretty easy to find your way into a little Gullah Geechee session.
Yeah. Yeah. True. True.
Pretty
And we
awesome.
stopped by the art museum there downtown, so that was really nice. We spent like an hour easy just walking around looking at the place. So yeah.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. It's a wonderful place. I haven't been back in a long time, but like it's growing up there was pretty nice.
Yeah, yeah. So I haven't mentioned medicine. That's one of the other ones, or medicine. Um,
Mm.
also one that bubbles to the top. Any titles that I've missed or collaborators that you want to shout out?
Um. Yeah. So like I've been working a lot with I'm working with a on a new book with Abrams. Like it's called Black Butterflies.
Uh-huh.
And it's going to be uh, we're sort of taking this public domain character called the Black Butterfly from the 1970s. So I think actually recently, I think it was maybe like Jim Rugg or somebody like that, just did like a little short of the same character. But
Nice.
we're like uh, we're doing a 200-page like original graphic novel that's like sort of like a psychological thriller with sort of superheroes.
Cool, cool.
And I guess you could say like not even just like psychological, but like a psychedelic psychological thriller.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's all about it's going to be in an insane asylum, like in
Oh wow.
the 1980s, like Iran Contra stop and frisk 80s New York. It's a real fun like place to a world to build. Um,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
uh, and yeah, that one's gonna be really awesome. So that's coming up next. We're adapting the next Parable of the Talents. That's what I'm working on, like right as we speak. Well, not like right now, but like after we get off. So,
That would be amazing if you were like making
yeah,
a book right now
yeah,
while we were talking. Yeah,
yeah.
that would be cool.
That's what I do when I have to do meetings and like board meetings and stuff like that.
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
usually just drawing, but yeah. So we're doing Parable of the Talents, which is the follow up to Parable of the Sower, and then we've already got Wild Seed. Like we're doing that one right after
Nice.
that. So we're gonna be doing I'm going to be doing like two Octavia Butler books, like adaptations to comics. And I
Awesome.
just finished
Awesome.
like we just finished the final pieces of a book I'm doing with Greg Neary. It's called Safe Passage. And Greg Neary, if you might know him from Concrete Cowboys.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, it was like a show that was on like Netflix. I think it ended up on Netflix. It's about like urban cowboys. um, but this one is about it's called Safe Passage. It's set in Chicago, sort of a love letter to Chicago. But it's about sort of an adventure story. Sort of think I kind of want to think The Warriors, if you've ever seen that, like
Hmm.
sort of 1970s. I think it was like late 70s, 79 or something like that when it came out. But like so it's like these kids like skip school and go on this adventure to go find this bag of money that uh, or they want to see if they can get some money from this overturned Brinks money truck.
Mm-hmm.
So they like figure out a way to skip school, try to get down and get a bag of money, and then see if they can get back. And they have to like avoid gangs and you know cops, truancy officers, and all sorts of stuff. So
Nice.
that one's like super fun,
Yeah,
and that
yeah,
one's like yeah. So that's kind of what I have on deck right now. And Yeah, I think you mentioned medicine. I mean, that's old school.
hmm
I
hmm hmm
think that's it's a long time ago, but like that was a pretty cool idea. That was Jeff Dyer wrote that, and that was yeah, it was like a pretty cool concept. Like, what if um, supervillains got healthcare?
Yeah,
Who
yeah,
provides healthcare for supervillains? And so we sort of started that story, but we didn't get to finish it. So
yeah,
that's unfortunate, but it was a pretty fun premise to work on.
yeah, yeah, definitely. I love the concepts, and I don't know if I'm old school or new school, or I just read the things. I just try to read the range of stuff that's out there. So it sounds like you have a nice amount of work to do, work that's on the way.
Oh yeah, I'm just trying to get as much work out there as I possibly can.
That's cool.
Like a lot of the artists I've looked at are looked up to were prolific creators. So I'm trying to follow in suit. Like make as much as you can while you can make it.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
maybe someday I might have like an arthritic hand. I might there might be some horrific or catastrophic accident, but I want to get as much of it as I can get out as I can. While I can.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's pretty nice to have
yeah.
the opportunity to do that.
Especially if you love what you do, and it sounds like you do. And no sooner than I was talking about the Octavia Butler uh, graphic novel work, I was thinking there should be more of those. There should be more. So I'm glad to hear that there are a couple more on the way, because those are really
Oh,
really
there's
beautiful
gonna
books.
yeah. So you have to check out Megascope. It's like Megascope Abrams.
Hmm hmm
It's John Dennis's you know like project, and the all the books that we're going to be producing are going to be sort of through like that same kind of lens. So there's going to be lots more Octavia Butler. We're going to be doing WB Du Bois. We're going to be adapting stuff from uh, uh, Henry Dumas, like all sorts of stuff. So like that's kind of like the structural lens of Megascope, is to take those sort of like Afrofuturistic stories and bring them to life as graphic novels.
Very cool, very cool. And looking forward to Black Butterfly as well. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that one's gonna be that's honestly gonna be. I was so excited for that, like
hmm
because all of my research is like uh 1980s black exploitation like
hmm
movies and
Yeah.
1990s stuff. So like New Jack City and Paid in Full, and like all
hmm
these things that yeah, you should watch some of those old 90s movies if like I guess your audience, if you've never seen any of those things. They're hilarious, but also
It's
like
quite a trip.
yeah, they're wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, any as we're sort of coming to the end, anything that I've missed, but then also any web spaces where people can connect, kind of follow along what you're doing, and stay up to date on things.
You can just follow me on Instagram. It's amazing David Brame, think that's correct. I'm not very good at like selling myself. I'm more of a you know,
You're
doing
you're
stuff. I just make
you're
yeah,
the
like I'm not
creator.
the second type. Oh yeah. So
Yeah, I
yeah, it's
like it.
Amazing David.
It is
Illustration, I
indeed.
think, is our Amazing David.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Amazing
And
David Brame.
find me on
Yes.
Facebook. Yeah. Yeah, at
Yep.
at Instagram, or just follow me on Instagram, and that's where you can see my artwork. And you'll be able to find my books on fine retailers, uh, or wherever books are sold. So Barnes and
Love it.
Noble, Amazon, Um, but Comixology is like you'll probably be able to find everything there, and you'll be able to even find like some of the older stuff, like
Hmm.
The Trip, or um, what other weird old stuff do I have out there? Yeah, look for The Trip. That's like actual horror. It's like bubblegum pop horror, like super campy. It's
Nice.
great and terrible and like super gory and silly. Um, so yeah, look for
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I'll go check it out. I will go check it out. Well, thank you so much for taking some time to talk with me. Did I miss anything at all?
No, that was great. Thank you so much.
Perfect,
You
perfect.
got everything in there.
All right. We try to hit all the things in a brief time, in a brief, comprehensive way. So thank you so much, David, for talking with me and glad to share about your work.
Okay, I'm glad to share about my work as well. But thanks for contacting me. This was fun.
Absolutely. Absolutely.